Hello.
We're gonna unmask for you.
Oh, I love it. Are those Heather Taylor?
They
are.
Yeah,
super cute.
yeah, aren't they?
Very cute. We talk about these masks that are Boo and Sarah's favorites on the podcast, which is being released today. And we're excited to share more of their favorites with you. Let's get into it. Are we making a meat wreath?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna reverse the camera angle here really quick.
I love it.
Okay, we're here. So, yeah, this is kind of the one instance where we recommend not doing a rectangle or a square. If you have like your great grandma's platter or your favorite just like serving platter, even a big dinner plate, you can use that. This is is like a 12-inch Heath ceramic serving platter that we're.
It's a 12-inch ceramic serving platter. And my question to you guys is, I was thinking about this. So for everyone to know, you want a 12-inch platter, round platter.
But you could do it on a standard like 10-inch dinner plate too.
Right. But I was also thinking this the other day. I was thinking, would you ever consider making a sort of like a wreath-shaped board for these wreaths in the future?
Yeah, I mean, if this year this kind of all came together very quickly, but in the future we could potentially have a wreath-shaped board. And if you have a circular wooden board, you could also build it on that.
Yeah,
you know what I was going to say? Why don't I have several questions for you? So why don't we turn the camera back towards me, and then we'll get into wreath making. Hi.
Hi again.
When did this idea for the meat wreath come to you?
It was actually a humorous idea. We were in a pitch meeting last summer with William Sonoma talking about what we were going to be bringing to the table this holiday season. And on our pitch list, because we had done one for a client last year, was this charcuterie, like this cured meat wreath. That would be a really fun DIY activity. This is midsummer when we were all thinking, like, if COVID continues and everyone's stuck at home, what do we need? Like fun holiday DIY.
Wow, you had the foresight to think about that.
Well, it was on the table. It's like, what is this season going to look like? I mean, we're in it now, and we're still like, what does this look like?
Yeah, still.
Well, it's such a fun idea because not only is it this wreath-shaped charcuterie or meat board, but it's like you said, it's do-it-yourself. So you can. There's that aspect to it as well.
Exactly.
That's really funny. So it was sort of like in.
Yeah. So we pitched it, and then we didn't hear anything, and then they got back to us with the plan for this year, and they're like, "We're running with it, and could you also send it for the holiday catalog shoot? Like, we're putting it in the catalog." And we were like, "Oh my gosh, we can't believe
we tried to build it at home, and her son, who's 4, was just like, as we were placing down the meat, he was like eating the pieces off the blade. So we had to took us a while to figure it out, but then we're like, this looks pretty cool. Like,
that's funny.
Yeah, and we ended up falling really hard for it once it came out and realizing how fun it was. And it's been so fun watching this holiday season. How many people who don't have our kit specifically, but were inspired by it and are doing all sorts of these kind of fun Christmas themed wreaths, edible wreaths. Yeah.
DIY.
Yeah.
Can you name all of the meats and cheeses and other items that someone receives to create a board?
Yeah, do you want to? We'll talk about it as we go through it if you want.
Okay, yeah, that's great. And then how do you make those selections?
So we work with, we use the vendors that we're already using year round. The first thing that you're going to lay down from Creminelli, we use their Varzi and their Soppressa. They make beautiful pre-sliced salamis that are vacuum sealed and ready to go. So what you're going to do is just lay the Varzi in a circle to the base of your wreath. And Creminelli is great because they come from Italian heritage. They make classic hard salami that's available. Like, you can buy it at Whole Foods. It's pretty accessible and really, really great high product.
How often are you looking for new product for Lady and Larder?
All the time. I mean, in our life, like never not looking. Previously, pre-COVID, we, every time we're going out and eating, we're inspired and looking. And now we're lucky. A lot of people come to us and send us things all the time to look at. And we talk a lot with our, vendors and makers about like what's up and coming, what's happening. A lot of times our different makers will call us and say, like, we're doing this collaboration. Would you be interested in supporting it? That sort of thing. So then we get kind of on the early side of whatever's being developed, and we get to watch it come full circle.
Okay, is this the same? We're working with the same meat, or are we on to something
Right.
else?
So yeah, we have this base layer, and then we're going to save the rest for the last step. And then you moved to the kind of textural part. And this is the La Quercia prosciutto from Herb and Kathy. They're in Iowa and make just like the world's best domestic prosciutto. And you're just going to lay it down kind of like ribbons standing up.
Interesting.
And it kind of creates a textural element.
Like you gotta let it do what it wants to do. Like prosciutto has like its own vibe.
But you don't want it laying flat. It looks so nice and airy when it's standing.
Well, it gives it some height too, right?
Yeah. Texture.
What are, in general, would you say, what are the key components for a balanced and beautiful looking board?
I think having a variety of flavor and texture is always what you're searching for. So when you're sourcing, you want to think about cheeses. We love odd numbers, especially too. Like for cheeses, 3 and 5 always look the prettiest.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like design.
It's like kind of thing, it's like your basic design elements. Like if you were interior designing a home, or you're looking at balance, you're looking at texture. And when you source, we always like get a variety of cheeses. You want a soft and a hard one, maybe different milks like cow, sheep, goat.
It's always something approachable that everybody, everyone's gonna like, a crowd pleaser. And then also, if you want to get a little riskier, try a different, put one on there. You don't have to go nuts and find a bunch of like super.
Right. And what about technique? What is exactly the right way
technique
to slice and arrange meats and cheeses?
Yeah, the golden rule that we always talk about at the shop is just the serving temperature, which is if you've got that down, you're going to be fine. And that's room temperature. So cured meats and the cheeses are served best at room temperature.
It's totally different and totally comes alive when you let it sit out for about an hour.
Oh my God, this already looks beautiful.
Okay, so you're adding this textural layer.
What would you say? I think a lot of people have this question. How long is the right time to leave meats and cheeses out at room temperature? How long can you go with that?
Well, if you were in Europe, let's just say this, they'd all be sitting out all day. They don't even refrigerate them. So it's completely safe to leave out. With cheese, we worry mostly in the summertime when it's hot and the heat element can make the cheeses sweat and the meat sweat a little bit. And then they lose a little bit of that like beauty and textural element that you're into, or they get too soft. Right. So if you're in a nice, like temperate 70-degree and environment, and it's not in the shade, if you're in the summertime, in the winter, you're probably fine with that. You're good for hours and hours. There isn't really a health issue at all.
If it's hot, don't go past 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. There are different types of cheese knives out there. Can you explain each? I think that's something that people struggle with.
I think there's a pressure, like, am I using the wrong knife? And it's not, like, let me show you here in the shop, if I can reach it from our tables. This is our little retail area.
Oh, I love it. Thanks for showing us.
Yeah,
so these candles, and now that you're focused on the candles, we can talk about that. If you order a Lady and Larder meat wreath, you will get a set of candles.
Yes.
Your order.
Here, let me show you the colors. Okay. We'll take a quick pivot over here.
They're gorgeous. And so when you order a meat wreath on storyandreign.com, you'll get one set of candles. Can you share the names for these candles? Because the names are just so great.
This is burnt caramel. This is olive oil. Shucked oyster. And Peter's sage. Peter is one of our very dear farmers that we work with, Peter Shaner.
These burn beautifully. They burn for such a long time. They're like the cleanest drip. They're really lovely candles. We're obsessed.
And they're such great colors.
So back to this. This is all you really need. What I'm holding in my hand. This is just a standard cheese spreading knife. They have the ones that have all different shapes. Some have a little bit of like a blade. With harder cheeses, those sharper ones are meant to help you like cut into the firmer cheeses. The ones with the softer edge are for going into the spreading the softer cheeses. When we build boards, we usually break down harder cheeses into like bite-sized or easily grabbable pieces.
Yeah, what we've realized,
and then this for soft cheese,
is that people, when you're at a party, we've noticed, when you do a cheese installation, you can kind of see what doesn't get picked up.
Yes.
And you realize that the people, if it's really hard and difficult to cut, people get intimidated, like they're standing too long around the cheese. If it's too hard to cut, they're just going to avoid it and grab something easier. So if it's difficult, you know, cut it into wedges or smaller pieces so that it's easy to grab and like,
crumble it. Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
And then
these are little like salami roses.
yeah, salami flowers. It's another
Salami
textural element. You fold it in half like a taco, like that, and then in half
Fold it
again, and you have a little flower bud, and you tuck this into your prosciutto ribbons for like one more added bit of texture to your wreath.
And what kind of a fork would you suggest serving with? A smaller fork or a large serving fork?
Yeah, even like those little crab forks work great for picking up, or like little baby like toast tongs are great. Toothpicks, yeah. But I swear those little like seafood forks are kind of perfect for charcuterie.
Yeah, like appetizer.
Yeah, a little appetizer fork.
And what are your favorite breads?
Breads, we work with this incredible bakery here in LA called Bubs and Grandma's, and Andy, the owner, makes just like stunning loaves, like classic sesame loaves. They're like slightly sour, all like whole grain, cracked grains. They're just so beautiful. And then, so we use them, and then we have this amazing baker, Colleen, that makes classic French baguettes, and we use a lot of those as well.
Perfect.
But anything you like is great. Like there's no... Like if you want to serve your cheese board with Ritz crackers, like you do that. But those are harder to spread on. They crumble in your hands. So the sturdier the cracker, the better.
Right.
Okay, so now we've got all the meats down, and you have this like, I'll come in close, you can see. It's like there's height,
Yeah.
texture happening. And now
Right.
you get to the fun part where you're going to add kind of the little beautiful elements of the wreath. So you pick the spot where the bow would be. So maybe it's this like top center boo. And we're going to put some orange wheels up there.
And you sell the orange wheels, right, in your shop?
We do, yeah. The kits come with blood orange wheels, I believe, or mandarins. We have all different ones.
And how do you make your own? Would you just dry them in?
Yeah,
the
you
oven?
you could put them in a dehydrator or in an oven really low. Slice them thin and put them on a sheet tray and go until they dehydrate all the way out.
These are dried cherries.
Yeah, I actually put cranberries because that felt more festive. Okay. But the kit comes with dried cherries and cranberries, I think, right now. Whatever you're into. You sprinkle some of these in. And then we love a nut element for crunch. So we use Fat Uncle Farms almonds. Sprinkle those in. And then you're going to use greenery for garnish. And you could use rosemary. This is some thyme. Anything that you have. Olive branch is great too. And we're going to use your scissors to cut it down. And just add a little bit of greenery around.
You're getting that for some real wreath elements in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the smell of the woodsy herbs. They have
the shape of the circle. So like imagine if you built a wreath before, like if you put your greens,
it kind of
like,
rolls
in the circle shape, it kind of like feels, you get more of like the
wreathy
circular vibe. Yeah. But again, there's really no wrong way to do it. It's just something.
You can also tuck them in up there. It's nice.
I see you.
And then for
so good.
For a fresh element, we like to add kumquat wheels, which we just slice. And we love the kumquats because they're fully edible. You know, the rind, the peel, the whole thing.
That's right.
They're bright, like palate cleansers.
Citrus season is here.
Tuck some of those in.
And the kit comes with kumquats as well?
It does. And these are from Mud Creek Ranch, which is a local farmer we work with.
How are you feeling about this?
I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling really strong about it.
It's beautiful.
Each wreath is just slightly different. On the podcast, I think we talked about the floral element, how it feels like sometimes, you know, you're doing an arrangement of types, and each one has a little bit of different character.
Yep.
Okay, so we got that in. And then the pickled mustard seed, which is our favorite kind of thing to pair in the shop with curd meats.
And why is that?
Because they pop. They're kind of like have a caviar vibe. Here,
yes.
I'm gonna pass this. They have the texture of popping like caviar, but they're made from pickled just mustard seeds that have been pickled, and they pair just so beautifully. We'll just tuck them into the little bits of salami flowers that we made.
These are so, I could eat this jar with a spoon. It's so good.
And they have that like briny, pickly element that always just goes so well with cured meats. If you don't have these, you could just get a really nice grainy mustard, which, you know, every store has those. And you could put the grainy mustard kind of down in little bits to pair with the meats. Or you could put a little bowl right in the center.
You could even put like cornichon. You could put so many cute little things, like whatever you like with your meat.
And then if you're feeling like super gloss, then you could put, like, you could also put a wheel of brie right in the middle of it.
Yeah, next level.
Next level, yeah.
Right.
Can you bring us into the light?
Yeah.
See, guys.
So pretty.
Here we go. Kind of see.
That is fantastic. Look at that. And what is the price?
That's a great question. It depends on whether you buy it through us or Williams-Sonoma, and the shipping prices differ a little bit as well.
We can ship a little quicker right now, direct. So as we get closer, try to go through our site, but it it'll differentiate a little bit.
It looks
depending on who you go to.
incredible. Yeah, you could go to storyandreign.com too to check out the price, also to check out all the elements in the wreath. Ladies, I have a few more questions for you.
Great.
So how many, what does the wreath come with? If you could just tell us again what it comes with. It comes with herbs. It comes with...
it comes with all the different cured meats. You get cured meats from La Quercia, which is prosciutto. You get creminilli salami. You get salami from Charlito's Cocina in Brooklyn. And then you get the greenery garnish. You get all of the dried fruit, the nuts, the pickled mustard seed. And then it comes with a little guide for how to put it all together. And we also have a full video on our Instagram IGTV channel where you can go and watch the live video.
A very fast version of what you just saw.
Yes,
or
the 2-minute version.
When we're actually going to recreate, we're going to have this video for people to view so they can view it as well. So on episode 58, which is the podcast, your podcast with us launches today. You talk about your intention in your branding and your naming to make the food that you do more approachable. Like, for example, it's meat wreath as opposed to charcuterie. Can you explain a little bit about your approach?
Well, we're 100% American. So using a French term, charcuterie, in the beginning,
it sense of place.
The sense of place, it felt more intentional to say cured meats.
But also it's for us, it's always about like approachability. And like, if, for a lot of people, charcuterie is a weird word.
And now it's trendy, but 4 or 5 years ago, 9 out of 10 people
didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to put words out there that make it intimidating to talk about to your friends when it gets there. Like, we want you to be able to like be really proud of this thing you put together and like low barrier to entry.
That
was kind of the thought process, and like, how can we make this as comfortable and approachable for people so that they're really proud and excited to share with guests and talk about it confidently.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the most popular items at Lady and Larder in each category, like prepared foods and in your bodega, like that type of thing? Like what sells the best? Like which sandwich sells the best? Like which...
Oh my gosh.
So we didn't have a lunch program until COVID hit, and then we'd been working on one for about 6 months, and we literally just like the day the city shut down, we flipped the switch and we're like, let's offer lunch, and the people in our neighborhood will at least have that option.
Right.
So hold on one second.
Mailman's here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You sell so many fun things.
Yeah, so for the sandwiches, we have a new salad that's called the Lunch Lady. That's really, really popular.
Really
and it's like our take on like a 1990s chef chop salad, but it has like a soft boiled egg and turkey and quinoa, like crunchy quinoa crisps, and tons of veggies and like a golden vinaigrette, we call it. And then the Yes Honey sandwich, I think, is the most popular right now.
So good.
Yeah.
What's in that sandwich?
The muffalata too.
Yeah, but that one just went off menu.
It'll be back.
We'll be back. Yes Honey is shaved ham and turkey, Hook's 5-year cheddar. It comes on Bubs and Grandma's bread, and it gets what we call shredded, which is like shredded romaine and radicchio, really, really thinly. And then our friends at Kaylin and Hobbs make the most insane pickles and relish on the sandwich. So it's delicious. Yeah.
And you also sell home goods as well. You sell candles. What are you selling currently, and what's popular?
Show
right
my
now?
tote bag.
Oh, yeah.
Boo designed these super cool totes, these denim totes with bagoo.
I love bagoo.
Everything at the market inside of it. It's huge.
Yeah.
Show us a tote.
Giant market tote. I'm wearing like a huge jacket.
Let me turn the camera so I can see it. Oh yeah.
Good denim.
Yeah, and it fits a whole laptop in this outside sleeve.
Like all of your haul from the market.
Ooh, love that.
That's great. Our hats have been really popular.
Cool.
Oh, there's the hot sauce we were talking about.
Yes, and this is another one of Boo and Sarah's favorites for hot sauce. We talk about that on the podcast.
There's a lot over here.
There's so much cool stuff.
Yeah. I mean, last question for you both.
Oh, here was the coffee we told you about. This is our favorite coffee from Jules and Watts.
Gorgeous. You sell the best stuff. You really have great things.
What was your question?
Very well curated. My last question for you ladies is, you know, the meat wreath is typically something that you might find as an appetizer or on a buffet, but if you were to make the meat wreath like a centerpiece of a sit-down meal, what would you pair it with?
As far as beverages or like food?
Like incorporating and making it into a meal, what would you serve
I would
with?
pair, for the beverage, I'd go champagne because that feels festive for the holidays,
Yeah.
or whiskey maybe. I would love that too. And then I would definitely add the brie, like add a cheese element and add a sturdy bread element, like a baguette is perfect. And that's basically a meal. You could add a big green salad too.
Yeah.
Like a super
Like
light
a big
dressing.
farmer's market salad, and like boom, you're
And
done.
like you can put out a bowl, like if you have nuts that you put on there, you can put out extra like toasted nuts, like stuff that's like kind of like tapas-y, like little pickle things,
pickles,
olives.
yeah.
Like eating that way is so lovely during the holidays because you can have a couple of drinks. It doesn't feel super heavy. Put out some cute cocktail napkins.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Fantastic. Well, episode 58 is launching today with Lady and Larder, so there's more with them. And thank you so much for this how-to.
Thanks
Good
Thanks for
to see you
having
guys.
us.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.